Just for human right now back to a new Gravity Falls review, and if you want to watch one, go and check it out. And we're back with the next two episodes of season one. When we start with another really interesting one, and we see that it is so hot outside, and yeah, an animal just ends up burning in flames. And yeah, the wax sculpture of Stan starts melting, and all these other things start melting and peeling off too. And yeah, they're just all just so hot. And then they actually decide on going to a pool, which yeah, we just see Waddles just also licking Stan. And yeah, they're having to get this spatula to get him off of the floor. And yeah, we see the wood that's still trapped on or stuck on his back. And yeah, these we see the pole. And yeah, Dipper is just wondering why would a sun need a sunglasses? And then yeah, Mabel actually gets her attention on this man and the pole. Yeah, again, this is basically another time where she actually falls in love with somebody that she just sees. And of course Seuss being Seuss and saying that better go and talk to him. And yeah, of course she goes running and of course Dipper is like yeah, even though Mabel always has to always just go to every guy that she comes in contact with, and she's never kissed a guy. Heck, I'd never kissed a girl, I can just say. And yeah, Stan gets hit with water, and apparently it's Wendy. Yeah, Wendy is a lifeguard, and yeah, chasing Stan away. And of course, Seuss is just wondering what is going on with Dipper. And yeah, apparently there's another seat open, which, of course, this gives Dipper the opportunity to try to be with Wendy. And, yeah, of course, when he thinks he can get the job, he has to talk with the boss. And, yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing these different things with his hands and stuff. And then Maple goes over to this guy, which, yeah, he has an accent. He has an accent. And pretty cool accent. And yeah, she is just going like I don't know what I would do if a girl would start doing this to me. I'd probably be creeped out. I'm just saying. Because yeah, I would I mean, yeah, obviously I would it would be an absolute miracle if I actually was able to have a girl to actually talk to for 10 minutes without them being creeped out or anything, or even a whole week. But yeah, if they started doing this, if they just started meeting me, like if we just met in person, like for the first time, if they did this to me when we have not even known each other, yeah, I would probably be creeped out as well. And yeah, keep saying that he has to go somewhere and goes to the other part of the pool, but she's still intrigued with him. And yeah, Dipper is talking to the boss, and yeah, we see all the people in the pool wondering if Dipper will be able to do it, and even showing this hand that apparently he lost his real hand at the pool, which yeah, he then gets the whistle and gives him a hug as well, and yeah, so Seuss and Stan see this chair, which apparently nobody has claimed, and everybody's getting disgusted by that old man. And yep, we see little Gideon. Little Gideon takes the spot from Stan, and yeah, he picks up little Gideon, and he gets thrown into pool jail. And then yeah, we see yeah Wendy's boss, and I guess Dipper's boss now is very strange, I would say, and even like drinking the pool water too. Like yeah, this guy's needs some help, and he's running, and then he starts walking, and yeah, he's just not knowing what to do since he's got Stan doesn't know on what to do in pool jail, and apparently we see Solitude. Yeah, this pool has some pretty disturbing things, I would say. And then, yeah, Mabel comes out with this sandwich that she just fished out of the water. Like, yeah, it's pretty soggy as well. It's pretty soggy. And, yeah, then he tells Mabel to swear not to tell anybody of what he's about to say. And apparently, he is a merman. Yeah, he is a merman. And we actually see where he was actually in the ocean swimming with his friends, and he ended up getting captured and then trying to escape, trying to get back, but yeah, ended up not going so well. And he ended up getting licked on the face by the wildlife, and then he ended up in the public pool, which again, Mabel just thinks is absolutely cool because he's never met anybody like him. And yeah, of course, Diane is trying to get little Gideon to get away from the seat and shining the beam from the light into his eyes. But yeah, little Gideon is one step away and starting to reflect the light back at Stan. And yeah, Seuss is believing that this rubber duck floaty is talking to him. But of course, it's just Wendy and Dipper just messing with him. And yeah, apparently the pool is closing and telling telling Dipper great work today and to lock the supplies closet, which he does. And yeah, Mabel is told if she can come back to the pool tonight, which of course she does. And yeah, we did see no trespassing and do not touch with that net, the pool net. And yeah, showing these different pictures, and apparently he misses a family of his own. Which yeah, he tried to escape one time, but yeah, it didn't go so well. And yeah, then she tries to straight out kiss him, and then yeah, like what is up with these cops though? Which they are something in this show, and yeah, of course they're trapping him. Which then yeah, the boss, his boss tells him to get down and telling him about some pool supplies that have been taken, and also with the whole net that is broken too. And he says if he also setting him to do a lookout, a night watchman, and if he doesn't do his job or if he messes up the job, he's fired. And then Mabel trying to play with her new merman friend, and yeah, then she actually vows that she doesn't like to see him like this, all down like this, and they're gonna be planning to break him out tonight. Which yeah, Dipper is then watching and sees his own uncle literally breaking in onto the public pool. And yeah, then we see this cooler, which at first she thought that to make some little or legs, fish stick legs for him, but then just decided to use this cooler. I mean, that could work too. And then, yeah, of course, Dipper is wondering what is going on. And yeah, of course, Seuss ends up there too and distracts Dipper while leaving. And yeah, we see that poor kid still in solitude. And then, of course, chasing after Mabel with then they go to the lake. And yeah, why is Stan in the girls' bathroom? And yeah, he goes and tries to take the seat just so he can stay there until it is time for everybody to come to the pool. And then, yeah, again, this weird thing with the police officers. I don't know what is up with the policemen in this show. But then, yeah, the cooler ends up starting to leak water out, which they're almost to the lake. And then, of course, Dipper is really wanting an explanation of what she is doing. And yeah, we see the merman revealed. And yeah, of course, he is dying, which gonna have to give some CPR. Which yeah, he's squirting water in his mouth and putting it into his mouth, which is very disgusting. And then yeah, of course, Mabel then takes a picture and is like blackmail. And yeah, of course, he could have literally just pull, pushed the merman into the lake. And then, of course, gives this megaphone to try to get the merman to get his family's attention. But of course, Dipper's like, this is property of the pool. But then, again, she's just explaining that it, which is very sad, I would say, of just having a chance to help somebody that, yeah, again, then she gets a kiss, her first kiss as well. which, yeah. And of course, her leg lifts up as well, which Dipper's, of course, disgusted about. Which then, yeah, we see all the damage at the pool, which, of course, the boss is wondering who is responsible, which, of course, Dipper says that he was. Which, yeah, he literally eats the whistle, which that was a bit much. And then we see Seuss freeing all of the ducks, and then chases after him. And then apparently Wendy got fired too for taking too many snacks. And yeah, we see Mabel just all sad at the pool, but then she gets a message in a bottle to her, and apparently it was that merman thanking Mabel and saying that that kiss that they shared will always be a treasure to him, and that more bottles are on the way. Which, yeah, she receives more bottles, and yeah, then little Gideon sees Stan, but apparently he was all planned for this. He knew that this would happen, so he actually glued the chair. So now he's stuck. And then we just see that poor kid still trapped, and we see time is just going by as well. Which again, it's just pretty sad that he's still stuck down there. But then we go to the next episode, and this is another cool one. Which this one reminds me of Freaky Friday. Yeah. You know those Freaky Friday, not only the movie, but those specials? You know, Phineas and Ferb did this, where it came to swapping bodies. And Austin and Ally, I remember watching one on that, and I'm pretty sure Jesse did it as well. A lot of other shows did this kind of plot line. This one also had a similarity to it. And yeah, it starts with this cool golf course, and yeah, Dipper is taking his shot, which ends up breaking a window and hits Stan in the head, which then, yeah, we see wobbles holding the score, which apparently the alarm clock goes off, which Mabel is saying that she's hanging out with her friends, but no, they're actually coming here, which then he's like, oh no, oh no, 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 no. And then sees this sleeping bags and these movies and then this board game, and yeah, they come in, which then he screams. Yeah, then he freaks out. And yeah, they're just all having a time together, and yeah, he is just not having it. And yeah, he's just getting upset with Mabel, which then they decide to try to give him a makeover. And then, yeah, he's having to go and sleep somewhere else. Was wondering if he can sleep in Zeus's room, which apparently is the break room, and it does not look that great. And yeah, then he tries to sleep outside, and then a wolf starts biting on his foot, which then seeing him have fun in the sleepover, he's like, well, this is way better. And then, yeah, they're wondering what even happened last night. Just, yeah, like, that's a mess for sure. Like, they caused so much of a mess, and yeah, absolutely crazy. I would like to know what they were doing. And yeah, Dipper looks awful. And having this pizza with glitter on it, and again, he can't take this. Which then he's upset about the whole golf course, and then saying of how yeah his rating keeps Mabel up at night, which I can kind of see why I would say, and then talking about him not cleaning his clothes, which is pretty disgusting, and yeah they get in a very big argument that they decide to split rooms to have separate rooms. Which then we see this wrestling going on, which Stan is doing fight, fight, and then these deers fight, fight, and then these babies then fight, fight. Yeah, apparently it's a baby fights show, which is quite funny. And then, yeah, of course, of course he's not gonna get make them split rooms, obviously. And then apparently Seuss found a secret room that apparently even Stan didn't know about. And we see this carpet that has Experiment 78. And yeah, Mabel just doing snow angels or carpet angels on. And yeah, of course, Stan being, a trickster, trying to manipulate, I guess you could say, his own nephew and niece, and making them compete to try to who will win the room, which, yeah, untying his shoe. And then, yeah, Seuss is like, I don't know about this room, but it kind of gives me creepy vibes. Why don't y'all just be appreciative of what the room you got? But of course, they still, yeah, they just still go and try to win the room. And then we see these sparks that's coming on the tag. And then apparently they get points as well. They're getting points that Stan is giving them. And then getting this wood, which then he's like, he's a great uncle. Obviously, no, he's definitely not the greatest, I would say. And then, yeah, them mowing the lawn, and yeah, Dipper's just saying of how great this is going to be when he's able to get the room. And yeah, we see sparks coming on his socks, and apparently Mabel made an omelet that is saved of Stan's face. And then, yeah, they end up electrocuting each other, and they end up swapping bodies. Yeah, Mabel is inside Dipper's body, and Dipper is inside of Mabel's body. And then, yeah, of course, they're freaking out and throwing up as well for what is going on. And then apparently we see this electron carpet, and of course, they use this on their advantage to try to sabotage each other's way to win the room. And yeah, just doing these very harsh or threats to their uncle, and even this whole sandwich with real rocks in it, and of course saying that Mabel obviously he cannot tell somehow about their voices different. I don't know why. Still thinking that it's Mabel, even though it's Dipper talking. And yeah, of course, just again doing more insults and breaking stuff and going crazy. And then we see Seuss with Wobbles, and yeah, they then end up switching bodies. Now Seuss is in Wobbles' body, and Wobbles is inside of Seuss's body, and goes to the vending machine and starts licking it too. And then yeah, Wendy gets creeped out. And then Mabel's friends come, but of course, to have a sleepover. But Dipper's inside Mabel's body. And of course, Mabel's trying to go to her friends, but since she's in Dipper's body, she gets locked out. And Stan is saying that, wow, trying to sneak in and looking at girls, huh? Well, it looks like we're going to have a talk. And yeah, apparently, yeah, Mabel is like, I'm not ready for this. But then looking at these different body parts, and then yeah, then we see Zeus just walking and getting all muddy. Which then we see that old man again, and crazy old man, and yeah, gonna eat Zeus. And then yeah, Mabel is traumatized because Stan is like, and that is how babies are made. And then she is like, goodbye, childhood. Like yeah, she is just absolute traumatized now. And maybe to never have kids of her own now knowing all of that, and saying that Mabel will be getting the key. But then, yeah, of course, just after this whole insulting, but then he actually appreciates the whole insulting. And then, yeah, of course, he's freaking out, and or she's freaking out, and then Dipper's freaking out, and then Seuss is freaking out. And then, yeah, they're playing a board game, and ends up running and trying to break more stuff. And yeah, they think that they can swap back to bodies now. But of course, no, they end up locking Dipper outside of the room. And Mabel's friends is still playing that game, which Dipper then goes over to Mabel's friends and wondering if they would give Dipper's body a makeover. Which then Wobbles starts eating tissues and looks at Stan when Stan comes over about cutting his pay, which then does this weird thing with his nose, and he's like, fine, like forget what I said. And then this lady is just trying to ask for directions, and then Wobbles goes out, and then she's like, you're gonna ask for or show me directions? And yeah, they open the door and give him a makeover, but then they swap back bodies. Yep, they get back bodies now, and trying to explain things. But then they end up swapping bodies again, yeah, things are just going absolutely crazy because they keep swapping bodies, and then Seuss and the old man comes and they start zapping through bodies, and I don't know what Stan is even doing. Which then we see these babies fighting again. What this baby is saying, which then again they're just all swapping bodies, and even the policemen come and even they switch bodies too. And then they're finally back in their own bodies, which they start fighting, and apparently they never did want they never did want to move out. And yeah, Dipper has just always been so alone when it came to how and awkward when it came to her friends coming over every night. And yeah, he gets the key. And yeah, everybody seems to be back in their bodies. It seems like Seuss hasn't, but no, he says that he's back as well. And yeah, they get rid of the old man. And that lady comes and saying, "Yes, I would want to marry you." And then kisses Seuss as well. And then, yeah, Dipper has his own room and tells Stan to get rid of the carpet. And yeah, of course, he then remembers that Mabel is not in the room, and Mabel remembers that Dipper is not in the room. And then they're wondering if they can have a sleepover, and breaks another window as well. Which then they go back to sharing rooms, and apparently Dipper gave the extra room to Seuss. And we see this awkward thing when it came to that lady and Seuss as well. But yeah, very cool episodes, I would say. Yeah, I'd like to know what you think. Let me know.